want to begin with a simple question. When was the last time you sat in complete silence? I don't mean the silence between songs or while you're waiting for the next notification come through. I mean real silence. No phone in your hand, no music playing in the background, no podcast, no television, no scrolling, just you and your thoughts. If you're like most people, it's probably been a while. And I don't think that's an accident. We live in the noisiest culture in human history. Before our feet hit the floor in the morning, many of us are already reaching for our phones. We fill the drive to work with podcasts. We put in earbuds when we go for a walk. We keep the television on while we make dinner. Every empty moment gets filled with something. Music, news, social media, text messaging. We are constantly surrounded by voices. Because silence has a way of bringing things to the surface. When everything gets quiet, you begin to notice what's been happening inside of you. Questions you've been avoiding, regrets you haven't dealt with, dreams that you've buried because life, it got too busy. It's amazing what rises to the surface when there isn't another distraction waiting to pull your attention somewhere else. So instead of slowing down, we stay in motion. We jump back into the current that's been easier to keep moving than it is to stop. Take an honest look at our own hearts. Our lives, they can feel like a river. Work and responsibilities, notification, entertainment, deadlines, and before we know it, months or maybe even years have gone by, and we've hardly stopped long enough to ask where the current is taking us. But underneath that rushing river, there's another current, one that doesn't change with the culture or the circumstances. God's presence has always been there, steady beneath everything else. In Psalm 139, it invites us to step out of that river for a moment, to sit quietly, to let that noise settle. Actually, I need you to trust me for 15 seconds. Put your phone face down and don't skip ahead. Just be still. And while we're quiet, I want you to remember one thing. The God that we're about to read about has already watched every moment of your day. He knows every conversation that you've had, every thought that you've thought, every word that you've spoken, every moment that nobody else saw. And He loves you long enough to meet you there. Let's just sit with that. That's it. That was 19 seconds. And if that felt long, if you found yourself reaching for your phone, or your mind wandered onto something else, or it just was a little uncomfortable, that's not a failure. That's the whole point of this episode. We're about to talk about a psalm where God knows every hidden thing that's about us. But we can't really get there until we're willing to stop moving first. Here's the surprising truth David wants us to see in this psalm. God, He's already searched you. He already knows everything that He is going to find. Nothing about your life surprises Him. And nothing that you've hidden from everybody else has ever truly been hidden from Him. And yet, God has never walked away. And that is what makes this psalm so personal. It isn't just about what God knows, it's about what God does with what he knows. So let's read the first verse together. Read with me Psalm 139, and we're just going to read verses 1 through 12. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know me when I sit and when I rise. You understand my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down. You are aware of all my ways. Even before a word was on my tongue, you knew about it, O Lord. You hem me in, behind, and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go to escape your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I rise on the wings of dawn, if I settle by the farthest sea, even there, your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light will become night around me, even the darkness, it's not dark to you, but the night shines like day, for darkness is as light to you. David opens up with these words, O Lord, you have searched me and know me. The word translated search is this rich Hebrew word. It describes someone who has investigated carefully, who digs beneath the surface until they understand what's really there. Imagine a miner searching for something precious, buried deep into the earth. He doesn't stop after brushing away a little dirt. He keeps digging and digging until he reaches the treasure. That's the picture David gives us about God's knowledge. God, he doesn't simply know the facts about us. He knows us. David, he lists here examples. God knows when he sits down and when he stands up, his thoughts from afar, where he walks, where he lies down. And before a word ever reaches his tongue, God knows that completely. Think about how remarkable that is. The people closest to you know the version of you that you've allowed them to know. Over the years, the conversations and the shared experience, they put it together, a picture of who you are. But even the people who love you the most, they only know that part of the story. God, he knows a version of you that existed before you've even had a chance to edit yourself. And if we're honest, that's a little uncomfortable. Most of us, we spend a lot of energy managing how other people see us. We've learned to edit ourselves. God has never seen or needed that edited version. He already knows the original. David's response isn't, that's comforting. He says, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. And honestly, I understand that. I know what it's like to fill my life with noise, so I don't have to ask hard questions about my own heart. I've done that. And I'm wondering if that's true for some of you watching today. Maybe you've been outrunning silence because you're afraid of what people will discover if you ever slow down. Psalm 139 says something incredibly freeing. You don't have to be afraid of being known by God. Before you ever decided to seek Him, He already searched for you. Nothing that you discover about yourself will ever be new information to Him. And somehow, knowing all that, He still invites you into His presence. If you're anything like me, there's a question that naturally comes after everything that David has just said. If God really knows me completely, every thought, every selfish move, every fear, then where could I go? Where shall I go from your spirit? Oh, where shall I flee from your presence? I don't think David is asking a theological question. He's asking a human one, because our instinct, when we feel exposed, it's almost always to hide. You see, remember all the way back in the Garden of Genesis, Adam and Eve, they sinned. And the very first thing they did was hide. Not because God didn't know where they were, but because shame always makes us believe hiding is our best option. And we probably all have different hiding places. Some of us, we hide behind success, behind ministry, behind busyness, behind our phones. And I think also behind noise. David imagines every place he could run, to the heavens, to the grave, Sheol, to the far side of the sea. And the answer to every question is the same. Even there, your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. Notice what David doesn't say? He doesn't say, even there you punish me. The hand that finds him is the hand that leads, a hand that holds. God isn't chasing him down to arrest him. He's already there, waiting for him to notice underneath all that noise. In verse 11, that feels very personal to me. If I say, surely darkness, it will cover me. Have you ever thought something like that? Maybe not in those exact words, but maybe I've gone too far. If people really knew, man, it can't be fixed. I mean, there was a season in my own life where parts of my life I felt were beyond God's reach. Not because I believed it theologically, I knew the right answer, but functionally, I'd stopped bringing certain things into the light. One of those things, my hunger for God's word, had thinned out without me even really noticing. I was busier doing things for God without actually being with Him. And underneath all that busyness, something wasn't healthy. I just had stopped long enough to really see it. I thought I needed to clean myself up before I could really come back. But David, he says something remarkable here. Even the darkness is not dark to you. There's no darkness that it's dark enough, no distance that's far enough. God sees perfectly where we cannot. And He sees us. He doesn't turn around and leave. At the end of Psalm 139, it says this: "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my concern. See if there is any offense in me, and lead me into the ways everlasting." David, he spent this whole psalm reflecting on who God is. He knows me completely. He's with me everywhere. There's nowhere I can hide. And after all that, David doesn't get defensive. He doesn't try to explain himself. He prays, "Search me, O God. Know my heart. Try me. Know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any sin, anything that's missing within me, and lead me into your way everlasting." Why pray that? If God already knows everything, because the prayer, it isn't changing God, it's changing David. He stopped hiding. He stopped managing what God sees. He's finally saying, "I'm done resisting. Show me what doesn't belong. Bring that into the light. Don't leave me, God, where I am." Notice what he's saying. He's not saying expose me, not saying punish me, but lead me. Everything in this psalm has been building towards that one word. Lead me. I want to tell you exactly where that season ended for me. I didn't fix myself. I couldn't have. What happened is I finally stopped moving long enough to admit my heart, it had drifted. My hunger for God's word wasn't there as it used to be. I wasn't as present with Katie and the boys as I wanted to be. I'd let ministry become something I did more than something I was becoming. And here's what I need you to hear. God wasn't waiting with me and looking at me with disappointing. He didn't say, "Oh, it's about time." He just met me right there before I fixed a single thing. Slowly, patiently, he started restoring what had drifted. He gave me back a hunger for his word I hadn't felt in years. He reminded me why I fell in love with him in the first place. He didn't expose me so he could condemn me. He searched me so he could heal me. And that's what this psalm is. Not just a poem about God knowing everything, an invitation to stop performing, to stop hiding, stop jumping back into the river. Every time silence gets a little uncomfortable. The God who knows everything about you isn't asking for the cleanup version. He's asking for the real you, the person who's underneath all that noise, the one he's known in the beginning. Before you go, don't reach for the next video yet. Just sit for a few minutes. Let the noise settle. You might not like everything you find. I know I didn't. But the God who rides underneath it all is already there. In his hand, he will hold you. We're going to step away from the Psalms for a little while after this. Not because we're done with them. We'll come back. But I don't want this thought to get buried under whatever else comes next. So let it be the thing that stays with you. God, he already knows you. Not the edited version, not the noisy version, all of you. And he's never once turned away. That's not a verse to remember, that's a person to rest in. And I'll see you next time.